Hi, welcome back to my journal journey. Today I'm setting up July in my reading and media journal. I'm using one of my Up-to-Daisy month stencils. These were collected in subscription boxes the other year and they have very much been worth it. I'm using a jelly roll to colour in the title, which I should have learnt from last month. Takes ages to dry, but yeah, still use them. I love the colour of this particular pink, so no regrets. I'm going for a tropical theme this month because on National Days, I think.com, it said that there was a tropical day in July, so I decided to roll with that, and I managed to get some beautiful stickers from the range, which were quite cheap for one pack, and I very much used these. They're so vibrant. The only downside is the backing paper is an absolute nightmare to get off, and sometimes I do cut into it, try not to cut the sticker itself to pry away part of the backing film, but on this setup I ended up just gluing a lot of the stickers down because it was taking such a long time to try and get the backing off, and it was driving me bananas. So yeah, I ended up sticking them down. They are good for the price, but not really worth the headache. And because they're on transparent film, I've just used my glue rollery thing to adhere them to the page. I'm currently setting up my review page. I think this is the first time I've used the review title on this particular stencil, but it's a very close font to the one that's on the title page, and I was trying to set it up as quick as possible, to be honest. The only downside to doing what I've just done with the jelly roll is the fact that they take such a long time to dry, that I was contemplating putting the holes into the E and the R's, the R and the E's, but with everything else being smudgeable, I wanted to wait, and then for some reason I thought it was a good idea to colour in the non-holy letters, even though that kind of increased my waiting time, and it wasn't my best plan that I've done, but I realised that as I was colouring in the W. So I'm sorting through some of the stickers, trying to find out what I want to decorate this page with. As I said before, the colours of these stickers are just so vibrant. It is such a shame that they're so hard to peel away from the backing sheet. I did notice on a few of the stickers that they weren't necessarily cut central with a clear border all the way around. Some of them were slightly off. It's not something that bothers me terribly, but it is something that I noticed about these stickers. However, you kind of get what you pay for. They were very, very cheap. So that's what you get. And for this page, I didn't even bother trying to take the backing off. I just went in straight away with the glue roller. In this journal, it doesn't bother me so much because this journal doesn't leave my desk, doesn't go travelling anywhere, whereas other journals that I have, they get a lot more wear and tear. So this method wouldn't necessarily work, especially with those two flowers at the top. Revisiting this page, it has meant that I'm aware of those two top flowers not being glued down all the way to the edge, so it wouldn't take much to knock them off. Just finishing off the review title. On the right hand side, I will be gluing down covers, book covers, TV series covers of whatever I've consumed that month, and the left hand side will be some stats. I would like to go deeper into the stat game. I've seen some reading journals with pie charts and everything, and I would love to accomplish that. The only downside is, what stats do you track? How easy is it to find them? And having the time, which at the moment with my current job, that's a bit tricky. Because I was getting impatient for the review title to dry, I stuck a post-it note on and flipped the page so any transfer would go onto the back of the post-it note. I do really enjoy this stencil for spacing out everything, but as you can see on the left hand page, second box down, there was a bit of a slip, and that is the downside of having these larger box stencils. They are very prone to slipping, and it can get slightly annoying. It doesn't stop me from using it because I don't get too hung up on mistakes in my journals. Most of the time I try and find a lighter side to it, but it is something to be aware of. I'm just adding some decoration in the gaps between the boxes. I could utilise the space by having 8 boxes per page, but I like to spread them out slightly, and for each month I do tend to go for 3 pages of boxes. And for these boxes I've just used my everyday gel pen to draw them out. Sometimes I go for a fine liner, but the gel pen works just as well. I enjoy these types of setups because they are so quick and simple, and I think this whole setup took me about half an hour. Because it's all sticker based, no drawing whatsoever. there's the transfer that I didn't want going onto the right hand side. So here's a final flip through. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!